Alright, hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Dragonite and welcome back to Harvest December. Shiro has lost her powers, and it is snowing in July, because of course it is. And in this part, welcome comrades! Somehow I had a feeling I had heard that before, somewhere. It's the first time I'm using this. I stared at the chopstick gun in my hand. Mayoi was an expert at making these now. I'm Pink Ranger, by the way. Who's Almighty Red? Yuki. Ah, of course. Hey, shouldn't I be the heroine in distress? People, that sounds really boring. The heroine in distress. Heroine in distress. Heroine is something completely different. Anyway, people, I shall now give you a presentation of my new invention, the Lyrical Pistol Monster God Mastering Edition version 4. Hi, Paul. I've got an exciting new product for you today. Please tell me we're not doing this again. Please switch off the infomercials, we don't need them. But I practiced so hard for this! We all covered our ears before she shouted. Everyone was getting better at handling Mayoi. A mad scientist needs to talk about specs. It's fundamental. Oh, so you do know what you're mad. Oh, so you do know that you're mad, Sine nodded. Roll call. Just so you know which superhero we're supposed to be. Red, Yuki. Blue, Kohai. Yellow, Sine. Pink, Mizuho. Black, that's me. Because apparently I've got a pitch black soul. Ooh, that's a video title. Writing that down. Normally I don't think of video titles until I'm editing, but that just stands out like it stands out. Anyway, what about me? We had our mad scientist Mayoi too. We are One Piece? I'm sorry I went there. Wait, do we really have to do this? The Tagami Godbusters! We struck a pose. We didn't really want to do it, but it was hard to go against tradition. We each took our positions and struck a pose according to the hand-drawn picture Mizuho had given us all prior. Mine was called the Violent Bird Pose. I had doubts about our name, Godbusters too. Was it really okay to bust a god? Must be the heat. Grandpa Tagami circled a finger by his ear as he passed us slowly by in a tractor. We haven't gone crazy, we haven't. Our protest died on our lips. We all must have looked pretty bad doing this in broad daylight. Maybe we should just kill ourselves now. Is this a form of intimidation? Yuki asked Mizuho seriously without breaking a pose. I have a hard time believing that Yuki would buy into this pose thing. Just saying. Anyway. Erg! You have so much to learn! Mizuho shook her head in disappointment. It's necessary for every superhero ranger to have a color and a pose. I see. Yuki wasn't to go against necessity. We should punish the gods who have done wrong so they learn to behave. Mayoi's idea was simple. She also had her inventions to do the job. It was, after all, the invention that caused Shiro to lose her powers. It should work on those weaker than her. Hey, where's the wolf? The wolf has left. He won't listen to me anymore. Oh, that's too bad. I like that character. I remember you saying you created him as a complete individual. I could afford to do that, because at the time I knew he would obey me. It was a chance for the wolf to serve Shiro. Shiro had proven herself powerful enough to be worthy of being his master. But now that was lost. Mizuho scowled. She was one of the few that had never placed importance on the fact that Shiro was a god. For better or worse, to her, Shiro was someone who gallivanted around the town demanding food. I met her eyes. I saw Shiro the other day. How was he? Looking full of himself. No, you don't. It sounds like Pokeathlon music again. Mizuho swung her wooden sword like a baseball bat. A small god attempting to eat a tomato plant was sent flying yards down an open road. Feel the power! Forces everything! I have a chopstick gun. Mine's a Tor sword. Is this god alive? Did you kill it? Yuki pointed at the god passed out on the road. Oh, Johnny, how could you say something like that? Kasami, in squirrel form, had hopped on to Mayoi's shoulder. I'm not Johnny, I'm Yuki.
Ha ha ha! Don't worry, Stephanie. Our newest model of the Stab to Death version 26 was developed with censorship taken into consideration. It only has one rune on it. It only has one rune for containment carved into it, making it impossible to inflict any critical damage to any spiritual entity. No accidental grotesque horror situations. We take your children's mental health seriously. Let's all keep everybody alive and healthy. Oh, that's wonderful. It keeps everyone safe from being jailed, too. But of course, order now and get an amazing tree clipper capable of reaching 100 meters high. I can only do that for so long. To put it simply, we're just going to contain the powers temporarily so they'll get knocked out. Feel free to oppress as much as you want. Rosu will turn over in his grave. Peasants are naturally violent. Was this all made in one day? Thanks to the feedback, I would never have come so far if I only had the theories in my head. And for that feedback, she had fought Shiro, which resulted in taking her powers away, and now this.
What's the matter, Masaki? I was thinking in circles. It was a complicated situation. Shiro-sama? It's nothing, Shiro sighed. It was too late for regrets. The other gods scattered in the moment they saw Shiro coming their way. It's what's left of my integrity. They remembered who had ruled the land they walked on. But with time, that would fade. Look there! A gigantic catfish god-like god was eyeing an old couple dressed in their farming clothes. It stuck out its tongue towards them. Stop right there! Did I just, accidentally peek my microphone? Whatever. Stop right there! But before Shiro could run towards them, take that! A rubber band shot out from Sine's chopstick gun and hit the catfish god, causing it to fall flat onto the muddy ground. I can't move! I can't move! You're going to be naughty! Weren't you taught not to be nasty to people? I'm a god! I'm a god! That doesn't mean you can do anything you want. Aye! Oh. Shiro's outstretched hand dropped to her side. It swung powerlessly. She let out a breath of wet air, still a strange sight to see under the scorching sun. I couldn't do anything. She stared at Sine with her eyes wide open. That was close. Are you two okay? Oh, you're Marino-san's daughter. Why are you dressed like that? It's a long story. It's high fashion! Ranger high fashion. Thank you for saving us. The tanned old man gave us a genuine smile. Although we were embarrassed by the way we were dressed, Kohai and the others seemed to be pleased they could be heroes. I was feeling uncomfortable, so I took a step back and watched. I probably don't matter at all. Shiro took a step back. Shiro-sama, pardon me, I didn't notice. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is all I have on me now, but please, take this as my offering. The old man held out a ripe tomato he had just picked. But I haven't done anything. What do you mean? Would you prefer something sweeter? He must have been a religious man. The old man's face fell from her rejection. Shiro-sama, you're too picky. Just eat it like usual, won't you? No, I didn't mean... I hear things have been tough on you lately. Please, take this. At least you can have god nutrition. God nutrition. At least you can have good nutrition. Shiro looked at the old man. She looked dazed. It was the expression people made when they were about to burst into some kind of emotion. She was affected by the old man's kindness in a way she could not imagine. He was feeling sorry for her. For the first time in her life, the god that had her way whenever she wanted, she was being shown compassion. I watched her simply stand there like a helpless child. I couldn't forgive her. I was sure she couldn't forgive herself either. Don't look. Was she clenching her jaw? Would she break down in tears? Shiro took a step away from the old man. Shiro-sama, what's the matter? She shook her head in response. The old man had no clue. Give to the poor. Charity was a system that people built. It was done in the name of kindness, or in the name of God. Of God? Or of good? Or of both, really. Shiro had been on the giving end, and now she had to receive. She was just someone unfortunate. Someone worth pitying. She had balled her tiny hands into fists. I fed her too much. Huh? The old couple faced my way. Of course she would like to eat it, but she's just too full now. Oh, I see. The old man smiled and pressed several tomatoes into my hands. It's a lot nicer when you chill it in the fridge. Alright, thanks. You come by my place and get it later, Shiro-sama. What? Would that suit you? Yeah. Shiro nodded. The old couple went away, satisfied. I stared at the tomatoes in my hands. Mami-chan would be pleased. Misaki, I... Shiro opened her mouth to speak. Nobody wants to see you act the way you do now, Shiro-sama. I cut her off, not wanting to hear her finish the sentence. But I don't have powers anymore. Your powers don't matter, don't you get it? I didn't want to hear her excuses, I continued. Your use of authority as God could vary by situation, but you can't change your identity as one. I won't allow that. She should behave the way she used to, fearlessly, arrogantly, demandingly. She was a god, a superior being. But what was she doing? Wallowing in self-pity simply because her powers were gone. She was constantly in fear, trembling at each voice she heard. You're behaving like a human being now. Misaki, you're being too harsh. Misaki-kun, Shiro-sama has feelings too. She may, but she's a god. I'm telling her to behave like one. I could feel the cold ground. I could feel the cold of the ground around my legs, reminding me of the time we met last winter. You there! I demand you be my husband. She had captivated me, completely taken me over. I needed her to stay the way I remembered her to be. I would rather destroy her with my own hands than see her... Achoo! Her sneeze stopped my thoughts from wandering too far. A god sneezing? I don't know, but my head joints hurt, and I feel cold. You've caught a cold. How inconvenient. I wonder if this could be considered something similar to the incarnation. Are you alright? What do you mean? Mayoi asked worriedly. I think he's worrying to the Christian belief. Ah, as in the Bible. Mayoi nodded. Shiro used to have an absolute body, a vessel worthy of containing her powers. But now, it seemed to have changed into a normal human shell. Well, I guess we shouldn't be surprised considering how you dress, Kohai muttered. Shiro must have heard him, because she began to rub her forearms, which were exposed to the cool air. The weather was funny, switching from warm to cold by the minute. Now that her protective powers were gone, it was the perfect environment for her to get sick. Her home in Mount Okami was covered in snow, although the greater part of the countryside seemed to be attempting to remain summer as usual. It was confusing to hear cicadas singing while goosebumps rose on our skin from the cold. Maybe I should go home, it's warmer there. How did you come here? What are you talking about, Mizuho? The mountain is covered in snow, and you've lost your powers. How did you make your way down? I used the Yashiro, of course, but they don't draw power from me, but from the land, the way I used to. Achoo! She sneezed again and cussed as she rubbed her nose. You look like an old man when you do that. I thought so too. She was so human. I hated it. The cold air I sucked into my lungs helped somewhat. If it hadn't been cold enough to cool me down, I might have thrown a tomato at her out of irritation. I wanted her to stay a god. If she was going to crawl on the ground like the rest of us, she might as well disappear. My selfish thoughts were just as human as she was now. My need for her to be a god, my anger from having been deprived of a miracle, this was also very human. We had shared some moments together, but that was it. The only thing that connected me to her was her power as a god. What was that face I was wearing now? Was everybody able to read my dark thoughts, or was I able to hide it? It doesn't matter. What now? I'll just tough it out. Don't be silly, you've got to do something before it gets worse. I guess I could try those pills humans use. Take a bath to warm yourself up. I'll get Masaki to bathe me then. Me? I let my imagination run wild. Punishment? I got hurt. I've walked through the Winter Mountains several times. I've watched how people live and do things for centuries. I managed handling a cold fine. Shiro said as she began displaying a myriad of old women's tricks for cold. It caught Yuki's interest, and she watched and nodded while she held Kubikiri Maru in her hand, saving me from further injuries. Shiro didn't look at me. Good. I said it under my breath, but she visibly reacted. I knew she was putting up a pretense, but I was relieved to know that she had recovered enough to act as if nothing was wrong. I needed her to stay that way. She had changed me to think that way. She had to be a god, not just some girl that tries to please me. Masaki, I have a bad feeling about this. I should do this. I have no idea what your plan is, but please stop. I took out my cell phone and dialed a number. As soon as my call was picked up, I could hear game music playing from the other end. What is it now? Mommy-chan is really busy. So busy and working hard you've got calluses on your hands from holding the game controller, I'm sure. I gotta tell you, this character just needs to learn how to jump. I wish it would get some tips from that plumber that knows that grows big eating mushrooms. Do you know if we have someone... Do you mind if we have someone stay over for a while? An older woman? Mom was fast to react. Super old. Oh, I'm pretty sure that... I know you're imagining something indecent. Mom, no. She's sick, right? Bring her home. Huh? Who do you think I am? Mommy-chan's super... Hey! The last boss transformed into a zombie! Thanks, Mom. Did you say something? Gross. Wait, I have a time limit to beat this? Just hit the start button for God's sake. The phone went dead. Yuki was giving me a death stare. I tried to relax, getting ready for the beating that was sure to come. I had learned that relaxing healed my injuries. However, Yuki? She had her head bowed down. You're just being you. She looked up from beneath her lashes. I'm against this, she said, but not harshly. My place is the best option. My house has several empty rooms that can accommodate her. I'm not going to send her into the enemy camp. That's mean. I won't have her harmed. She doesn't need a simple roof over her head. She needs to relax. She won't be able to relax knowing that you're nearby. Besides, Besides, Kohai's place is already full with the Sakashima gods living there, and Tsune's place is too busy since they've got the shop to tend, so that leaves my place. Everyone's expressions fell. It looked as if I had said something wrong. My place is the best option. No, I don't like that. Yuki grabbed my sleeve. Her hands were shaking slightly. I couldn't move. My body was shaking in fear, anticipating Kubikimaru's wrath. She didn't move. Aren't you going to punish me? Don't even mention it. I'm trying to control my anger now. I could beat you up into pulp if you push me too far. But why don't you? Because I would forgive you if I did. Forgive me by beating me up. Once I punish you and my anger is gone, the only thing left would be forgiveness. Then I think you should beat me up. No, I won't. And I won't forgive you. Suit yourself then. Both of you, stop it. I called out to Shiro. I should have asked you first, but would you like to stay at my place while you recover? But we'd be happy to have you. Shiro clung onto my sleeve the way Yuki did. Her grip was firm but weak, like a scared child's. Ugh! Yuki turned towards her, swinging her naginata to knock her off. Ugh! Her blade stopped midair as soon as Shiro flinched. Shiro didn't even look back, but she cowered, clinging to my shoulder. Yuki couldn't fight anyone that had their backs turned towards her. She had to fight them front on. Yuki had her own code of honor. Yeah! She twisted her body and flung her naginata away forcefully like a javelin. The rice crops parted as the naginata sped through the field. Youch! Far away, we could hear it hit one of the smaller gods trying to mess up the farms. I felt the blood drain from my face. Lethargic days, and I think I'm going to end this off here. So, my name is Dragonite. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you all later.